Hi and welcome to my soul tribe. Today we have a very special guest with us, just for a couple of minutes. I just wanted to show you my beautiful, lovely, adorable... He's been quiet. Say hello. Say hello. He's been quiet. Louis. Baby. Yeah, hi. He's been quiet all day long. Good boy. Until I decided to do a video. He starts running around like crazy and squeaking his toys. So I just wanted to introduce you to my precious little furry baby, my little angel, who constantly runs around and plays with squeaky toys the minute I decide to record. So now welcome to my soul tribe. My name is Miriam Rose. Now you've met my precious little angel Louis, and you know who is running around in the background playing with his squeaky toys. Now you know from now on. I upload 2 to 3 times per week. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment down below. And also subscribe to my Instagram for all the latest updates. Today I will be talking about e.l.f. Bitesize eyeshadow palettes. They're made in the US and they're of high-end quality. They've really upgraded their quality. e.l.f. has really upgraded their quality, and the quality is beyond superb. And being this little, they're also very good for traveling. The packaging hasn't changed. I don't know, unfortunately, fortunately, I'm not sure. It's very plain packaging, but they've just recently come out in Australia. I know they've been around in the US for quite some time. There are 4 shadows in each eyeshadow palette, 2 mattes and 2 shimmers. You can only buy them in Australia from the e.l.f. website, whereas I'm sure they're freely purchased in America. Anywhere and everywhere you go. In America they're $3 US, in Australia they're 6 Australian dollars. I purchased 4 different palettes just to show you comparisons, but from memory there were 6 different bite-sized eyeshadow palettes available on the e.l.f. website. It's just that those 4 caught my eye. The other 2 I wasn't so impressed by. They just weren't for me. So the color range wasn't exactly for me. So I have found dupes for every one of those bite-sized eyeshadow palettes. So let's start with what I'm wearing on my eyes today. I'll show you. I'm sure you can see. The quality is superb. There's absolutely the most minimal fallout just in the mattes, and no fallout at all in the shimmers. And the other thing I'd like to say is I found personally that when you spray the shimmers, they really come to life. So let's start with pumpkin spice, what I'm wearing on my eyes, and do a swatch, which doesn't look like it's doing it justice. On the eye, it looks much brighter. It's not pumpkin spice, it's pumpkin pie. I made a mistake. The eyeshadow's name is pumpkin pie. And here, if you can see, the absolutely magnificent shimmers and very nicely pigmented mattes. I have found 2 dupes for the pumpkin pie bite-size e.l.f. eyeshadow palette. The first one being Huda Beauty Topaz Obsession. We can put them side by side so you can see a lot of the shades. If you have a look, a lot of the neutrals are very similar in colors, in color tone, and they will look even more similar on the eyes. So Huda Beauty Topaz eyeshadow palette, Topaz Obsessions eyeshadow palette, is made in China, and in Australia it costs $48, whereas the e.l.f. brand is made in the US. Now the second palette, which I would like to compare to the pumpkin pie, not pumpkin spice, is the ZOEVA Rose Golden eyeshadow palette. And if you take a look, if you compare the neutrals, they're very similar. And ZOEVA here in Sephora costs $45 for this, well, for most of the eyeshadow palettes, and for this one as well. ZOEVA or ZOEVA, whichever way you'd like to call them, is made in Germany. The shimmers can't be compared to the e.l.f. Bitesize shimmers because they're much more dull in the ZOEVA brand, but many people enjoy the more matte look, you know. Now the second e.l.f. Bitesize eyeshadow that I would like to share with you is called Hot Jalapeno. Hot Jalapeno. I need to bring it closer. And it doesn't actually show up, the colors don't show up the exact same as on camera as they do in person. In person, they're deeper. So let me do a color swatch for you. The gold is absolutely magnificent, and so is the green. It's a stunning looking palette, especially for those who love green eyeshadows. I do. I adore them. Here we go. Here we are. So that's Hot Jalapeno. And the dupe that I found for Hot Jalapeno bite-size eyeshadow palette from e.l.f. is Natasha Denona Mini Gold palette. The Natasha Denona has 5 eyeshadows. Still very similar though in color. I'll just put them side by side for comparison. I guess if you take away that one matte neutral, they will look even more similar. There are 5 shadows in the Natasha Denona Mini Gold eyeshadow palette, where there are 4 eyeshadows here in the e.l.f. bite-size palette, but the e.l.f. bite-size palette, the eyeshadows are much bigger than the Natasha Denona. Natasha Denona is also very well known for its incredible quality, especially in the mini eyeshadow palettes, and it's made in Italy. There's a funny story with this Natasha Denona Mini Gold palette. My son was in America when it came out in America, and obviously everything comes to Australia a lot longer, a lot later than it comes out in America. And I was so keen on this palette. I really wanted to get it before it came out in Australia, so I asked my son to buy it. They're the Natasha Denona mini eyeshadow palettes are $25 US, whereas they're 42 Australian dollars here in Australia to buy, but we didn't have this particular palette out yet. So with the exchange rate as it was back then, this mini Natasha Denona gold eyeshadow palette ended up costing me 55 Australian dollars, which is a lot of money. A lot of money. The next bite-size eyeshadow palette that I'd like to show you, which I've chosen, is called Cream and Sugar. And I've found a couple of dupes for it as well. I will do a quick swatch for you. So as in all of these mini or bite-size palettes, e.l.f. bite-size palettes, there are 2 mattes and 2 shimmers to each one. This feels a little bit more dry, but the color payoff is quite amazing too for the shimmers. And let's see, oh wow, and the dark brown as well. It's just the very light one that's hard to see. Here we go. So it's a beautiful palette, Cream and Sugar. Love those e.l.f. bite-size palettes. I am absolutely amazed at the quality difference that e.l.f. has come out with. It's improved 100%. So actually I won't close the palette because I found 2 dupes for this particular bite-size palette as well. One being Lorac Unzipped Gold. One eyeshadow came all broken up, so I tried fixing it as well as I could. And if you put them side by side, they're quite similar. Can you see? They're quite similar, very similar in shades. Now, we can't get Lorac in Australia. We can only buy Lorac through Beauty Bay, beautybay.com, which is located in England. And this particular eyeshadow palette on Beauty Bay, costs 70 Australian dollars versus 6 Australian dollars for the e.l.f. bite-size eyeshadow palette. Now, the second one, Lorac is also made in the US, just as is e.l.f. Now, the second one I've chosen, which can be a dupe for Cream and Sugar bite-size palette, is Too-Faced Chocolate Bonbons. Now, it's not identical by any means, but if you take away all the pops of color, which is in the Too-Faced palette, and just leave the neutrals, if you just take a look at the neutrals, you will see that they're very similar in the color selection and in the color range, I should say. Now, Too-Faced, this eyeshadow palette is $78. We can buy it here in Mecca stores. Mecca stores have been around in Australia for much longer than Sephora. Sephora has only been in Australia for the past few years. And the Too-Faced eyeshadow palette is also made in the USA. And lastly, last but not least, by all means, is the Rose Water bite-size e.l.f. eyeshadow palette, which is absolutely stunning. It is so gentle, it is so feminine. I love it myself. So I'll do a quick color swatch. And as I said, especially with this particular Rose Water palette, if you spray the shimmers, they really pop. You'll see a big pop. They look much brighter than they do on camera. So I have found 2 dupes for Rose Water Bitesize e.l.f. eyeshadow palette, Tarte Energy Nowhere. I find it difficult to pronounce. Noir. Tarte Energy Noir Clay Palette, which is $60 here, comparing to $6 for the e.l.f., which is very similar. Now, also this Tarte palette, made in US, I would say is a dupe for Swamp Queen face and eyeshadow palette. It's very similar. Very similar. Oh, look at that. You can see what's happening in the mirror. And lastly, another dupe that I have found is the ZOEVA made, I'm not sure if I mentioned Tarte is made in US. And ZOEVA Taupe eyeshadow palette, made in Germany. Oh no, I just stuck my nail in my little e.l.f. bite-sized palette. ZOEVA Taupe is very similar also in the color range, if you can see. And ZOEVA you can purchase at Sephora for $45. Made in Germany, all the ZOEVA products. I'm not 100% sure on the ZOEVA eyeshadow palettes. They seem just a little dull for me, a little too neutral. I like a nice pop, as you can see, on my eyeshadows, but then I like a nice pop on my eyelids. And people rave about the ZOEVA eyeshadow palettes. They, especially the taupe one, they love the color scheme. But for me, they're just a little bit too matte. They're very nice, but a little matte. So the last thing I'd like to mention is that all my makeup is cruelty-free, or was cruelty-free at the time of purchase. I only purchase cruelty-free makeup. Please comment down below and let me know what you think about the e.l.f. bite-size eyeshadow palettes, and whether you found your own dupes for them, which are of high-end. So you don't need to buy the high-end eyeshadow palettes. You can just stick with the e.l.f. superior quality bite-size eyeshadow palettes. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please comment down below. If you disagree with my choices and my dupes, then that's okay too. Let's agree to disagree. We all have our own opinions. So thank you very much for watching. Cosmic kisses to everyone, and till next time, bye for now. I personally, can I try that again? So now, welcome to my soul. There are five shadows in the matte in Natasha Denona. Start again. Please edit this.